Hi, my name is Bijou Abiola, and I am the Strategic Advisor and Chief of Staff to the CEO of Cartier North America.
Hi, Bijou. Thank you so much for being here
Of
in New York
course.
What
Thank you for coming to my city.
Oh no, it is my pleasure. So,
Welcome.
what do you do today? Tell us. What kind of stuff you do today?
So I've been in the industry, the fashion industry, retail industry for about 15 years. And I currently today, as of 2 months ago, joined Cartier to support the CEO of North America as her strategic advisor. So it's essentially like a chief of staff role.
Right.
I think a lot of people don't necessarily know what a chief of staff does, but it's very much being the right arm to the CEO. So different roles or different chief of staffs do different things. But in my role, I really do support her from anything that's strategic, organization-wide. It's essentially, think of it as like a right hand to everything that they need that they can't necessarily be there for. And so that's what I do today.
And your role it's not just about it doesn't focus on one particular, it's not operations.
No,
it's
everything. Everything that they touch, you touch to some extent. So like I was saying, different chief of staffs have different like scope capabilities or scopes within their role.
Yeah.
In my role, because it's more an advisory and strategic role, it touches everything across the org.
Wow.
Yeah.
But even though you're chief of staff to the CEO of North America, do you still get involved in
Absolutely.
overseas?
Yes, definitely. One big network. We are one big family there. So,
excellent. Yes. So this is great. Everyone's excited. I'm sure everyone's looking the same. So let's go right back to the beginning. Where did you grow up?
So I was born in London, where you're from, and then I lived in Nigeria. I think most Nigerians have maybe not most, but in my little circle. I was born in London. I lived in Nigeria till I was 15, and then I moved here to start college. I actually came here at 15 to start university.
So question, obviously it's very cheeky what I'm going to ask. So was it strategic that they give birth to you, you're born in the UK, so you have claim to the passport, and then you go back?
I got gypped because when I was born right as they changed the policy where like your parents had to be nationals for you to get like a British citizenship.
No,
so I was gypped. So I'm an American citizen, which I don't even know how I feel about that. But
you didn't get the passport.
I did not. I have to come back and get it at some point.
Wow. Sorry about that. But don't worry, we'll accept you. We'll accept you. So you go to so you live in Nigeria, you grew up in Nigeria. How was that? How was you at school? What was that like for you?
It was fine. I think, it's a blur now because I've been here longer than I was there. But, it's very much the foundation that my life was built on. I went to boarding school starting at like 10.
Right.
So that sense of independence is in you from a very young age. And so moving here at 15, I didn't move here with my parents. I moved here and I moved in with an aunt and uncle. Meant just I've been independent really since I was 10. So yeah.
So academically, are we like top of the class?
I don't even know. I was like, honestly, I don't know. I don't know how I got through school because I just loved to have a good time. I think I was just okay. I wouldn't necessarily, I was like top of my class. I wasn't a slacker either. I was definitely less focused in high school than I ended up being in college. So yeah.
So high school goes well. You're in the States now?
No, so I actually finished high school at 15. So maybe I was a little smart because I know.
You were advanced.
Well, I don't know. I also have like an October birthday. So I don't know. Either way, I got skipped like twice. And so, yes, I was done by 15. And then when I came here, I redid my last year of high school because I was so young. Like they were like, we're not sending you to college at 15. So I started at 16. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So you go to college at 16, which is ahead, right?
Yeah, definitely like a year or two ahead.
So can we go back, please?
Yes.
You said I'm just average. That is not average.
That's not average? Okay, fine. I'm smart. Okay.
She's smart, right, guys? She's smart. If you're going to college at 16, you're smart. So you're just being humble. We love it. Cool. So you go to college at 16, but obviously you're very humble, so we won't make a big deal out of that.
Yeah.
And then you study. What did you go to study?
So I think I've watched some of your conversations and everyone wanted me to be a doctor. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, but I actually loved cartoons at the time. Like I loved Animaniacs, which is like a Steven Spielberg, Warner Brothers cartoon. So I wanted to be a cartoonist. That was not an option. I got put into like a bridge to medicine program. Not my choice.
When you say got put, what does that mean?
Meaning like, it was like, this is where you're going to go to school. And I was like, okay. But I think, and we'll talk about this later, but I intentionally just didn't apply myself because I didn't want to study medicine. And so kind of flunked out of that program. And then got
How long
told
was that? A year?
it was like a year.
Wow.
But this was like that year where I went back to high school. It was the 1 year between that and starting college.
Got it.
So when I started college, I was told I was going to be an accounting major, that I was going to do accounting.
Wow.
And my first semester, I was an accounting major, and I got a C. I was like a C average, and I knew I wasn't a C student. So I know I said I wasn't smart, but I'm also like an A student. And so my second semester of college, we have these things called electives, like where you take just things that everyone has to take, subject matters.
Yeah.
And I was taking Greek mythology, random. And that professor, I remember after that first class, he says to me, well, what is your major? And I was like, accounting. And he's like, well, your mind seems like does not strike me as one of an accountant. You seem like you have a mind that wanders. So he describes me, and I'm like, what is this, like therapy? But anyway, by the end of the class, I go and I change my major to economics, because I started thinking, well, at the end of that conversation, so literally 5 minutes after that conversation, I walked down to the bursar's office or wherever you go and change your major, and I declare myself an economics major.
Wow.
Because I realized in that semester where I got a C, the one class that I loved was economics.
Right.
And so I went from being a C student to overnight by the next semester being an A student, to eventually being on the dean's list consecutively for like the remaining 3 years of college. So it was definitely a huge pivotal moment for me, just having that one, educator say to me, this is the kind of person I think you are. And it gave me that leeway to like pursue what I really wanted to do.
Where did you study?
So I actually went to Senior University of New York, which is like a local university, or it's not state actually, it's actually local. Because like I said, I was 16, they wanted to keep me close to home. And then when I came out of there, I went to Columbia. So again, very close to home. But by then,
You did economics.
I was doing economics. So I thought I was going to be an economist. I thought I was going to have a PhD in economics. And yeah, that was kind of where it all began.
And then what changed?
So what changed was, while at my master's program at Columbia, I decided to get a job. And at the time, it was such a hectic program. I got the job at J.Crew, and back then, like J.Crew, I talk about this often, J.Crew was like, the end all be all. Jenna Lyons, who some might know, was the creative director. And I just fell in love with it. Like I enjoyed going to work. I enjoyed playing with the clothes. Like I really enjoyed it. So that was kind of the organic part of what happened.
So are you going to J.Crew to get experience or to make money?
No, I'm going to J.Crew because like I wanted to shop and I just didn't have enough money to shop. Right. So I was like, okay, I'm going to work. And I joke about this. I worked at J.Crew, got the money to shop, and then got the clothes at like 50% off because I got the staff discount.
Of course, wisdom.
Apply it.
Yeah.
And so after J.Crew, I ended up at the United Nations because part of my program was to do an internship.
Oh, okay.
And so I ended up at the Nigerian mission to the United Nations, very interesting place. And I was in the Economic and Policy Department. And so that was sort of like my beginning.
Right.
Very quickly, I realized I did not want to be in the sort of policy sector. I wanted to be in the private sector. Right, and remember, I started college at 16. So at this point, I'm like 21. Yeah, so I'm pretty young. And I just knew I didn't want to do that. And so that's kind of where the journey began into fashion.
Excellent. Forward thinking.